Well, moving on to another big story of the day, voters who want to participate in the local municipal elections have until 5 o'clock today to register at their local IEC office.
Offices will be open at 8 o'clock to accommodate those last-minute registrations. In a statement released, the Minister of Cooperative Governance, David van Rooyen, said once the voters' roll is closed, no changes would be accepted, including additional registrations or re-registrations. The IEC has over 230 offices across the country, which includes at least one in each municipality. Voters need to take their ID book and provide details of their address on the registration form. Deputy Chief Electoral Officer Saima Mabolo says although the Electoral Commission has reached their target of an additional 1 million registered voters, they don't want anyone to be left behind.
Well, we've already exceeded our target. You'll recall that when we started with the voter registration process, we had set a target of 1 million more voters. In actual fact, we realized the figure of 1.3 million people that we added on the voters' roll. Well, we are quite happy that there's an indication from the minister who's responsible for local government that he intends to proclaim the election date on Monday, 23rd May 2016. On that day, it will be the last opportunity for those that are still not registered to register at the municipal offices of the IEC. And the proclamation also means that the election is starting in earnest. The Electoral Commission will meet with the National Party Liaison Committee to consult them on the election timetable, after which that election timetable will be published and it will lay the route map towards the 2016 elections on the 3rd of August.
Well, to give us some more details on the final day today, IEC Electoral Commission Chief Electoral Officer Mosotho Moepo now joins us in studio. Mosotho, lovely chatting to you as always. Appreciate you making time. I know it's a busy time for you. Just explain to us in layman's terms for our viewers today, they can still register after today or not?
They can only register today for this year's municipal elections. Anyone that registers after today will be ready for the next elections, but not the elections on the 3rd of August. Essentially, what proclamation means is that the voters' roll, as we have today, is the voters' roll that must be used on election day.
Okay. And just on a point of clarity, if you have registered in the past, do you have to re-register? What's the process?
If you have registered in the past, you don't necessarily have to re-register. But it is important that you check your details. You would recall that prior to us registering people in these elections, there was a process undertaken by the Municipal Demarcation Board where they demarcated the country or some municipalities. And in those areas where voters may have been affected, those voters, some of those voters may have to re-register. It is important for those voters to know what to do. We will encourage them to call our toll-free number, which is 0800 11 8000, where they can establish if they have been affected. They can also do so by visiting our website on www.elections.org.za and check their registration details. They will also see if they're affected. They can also send a text message to 32810.
So you've made it very simple and very accessible
absolutely,
as well.
Absolutely. And we will be seeking to help them on our website today. As you land on our landing page, it is all the information that voters would need to know where to go. We have over 260 offices countrywide. They are located in municipal precinct in the majority of our cases, and there will be people there to assist them to register and to vote.
Great.
So just considering, what's happened in the past with the whole issue with regards to physical addresses, I know you've spoken about it a lot. Are you worried at all that on some level or at some point that the elections won't happen?
I know the elections will happen. I wouldn't call it worry really, but one has to be absolutely sure that you have done everything you needed to do to prepare for these elections. This country cannot afford to have us go into an election and relaxing. We are working extremely hard. We are ensuring that everything that we need to do is done. In respect of the matters that are before the court will decide, and we will do what we are ordered by the courts to do. And we want to assure voters that we will leave no stone unturned to ensure that what we need to do is done.
Now, the IEC has said that they've reached that target of over 1 million registered voters, but there was also a target with regards to targeting the youth and first-time voters and women in specifically as well. Has that target specifically been reached?
That target has worked very well. In fact, 80% of our registrations were young people. These were people that we have always been looking for, and we are very, very pleased with this. Interestingly, there has been a correction factor on the voters' roll. You would recall that we've always said women in this country take their democratic duty very seriously. And so you would have found that in the past, more women registered almost in every category, age category, than men.
Okay.
In this year's elections or registrations, we have seen men correct some of that behavior, which is fantastic.
Yes.
But we have also seen women come up, continuing to come up in their numbers to register, which we really, truly appreciate.
Watching you guys all last week, all leading politicians signing the code of conduct of the IEC, and now there's been issues. I don't know if you're aware of some issues of posters being vandalized, and I mean, it's a dog-eat-dog world of politics out there. I know it's difficult for you guys. I mean, how do you go about dealing with this?
Two very important things that one must never lose sight of. The code of conduct is drafted and set, the rules are set by us, so to speak, but we don't enforce it. We would be referee and player at the same time if we did. The code of conduct is enforced by the Electoral Court. Anyone that sees violations to this code can and must approach the Electoral Court, not the Electoral Commission. We can also approach the Electoral Court where we find that somebody is violating that. That's the one part. The second part is, when someone vandalizes property or posters or anything, that's a criminal offense. And that must be reported to the police for them to deal with. Again, it's not a matter that we from the IEC are going to say, somebody must be arrested. We don't have the police force. We rely on the same police that you would report to. But it is important to point out that we will be active in ensuring that that code is adhered. It's adhered to. When that code is violated, it makes it difficult for this nation to have free and fair elections, and that we cannot have.
Definitely. Now, you did mention that you're positive that the elections will go forward and will continue, but as the IEC, what's been some of the biggest challenges, and how have you worked through those?
Well, for a start, no one election is the same as the other. Many of my colleagues are very seasoned electoral professionals, but every election has its own challenges. In this election, clearly we have the biggest voters' roll. Our democracy is maturing, and with the maturing of democracy, some questions that have never been asked before will be asked. There are more people out there who understand elections to the same extent that many of us in the Electoral Commission understand them. It's not like, democracy is new and, only people that are preparing for this election know what must be done and what must not be done. That we welcome. I think the greatest challenge in our time is to ensure that every one of the people that we employ on election day, and remember, these are people, over 220,000 people, that we'll employ for only 3 days. And these are people we have not known for many years. We train them, and we are hoping that they will do absolutely everything that we have trained them to do, that they will comply with everything that is required of them to comply with, that they will be firm when they need to be firm, and that they will treat voters with respect, as we would do. And that's one of the challenges that we have. But the second thing is that, in these elections, persons must understand that it is absolutely critical that you vote where you're ordinarily resident. In other words, you register where you're ordinarily resident and vote there. In these elections, you cannot vote outside of your voting district. And that's a message we would want every voter to embrace out there.
Masutu, I know you're busy. Thank you so much. I know we'll be chatting in the months to come. Almost 2 months to go, just
Almost
over,
there.
excuse me, 2 months to go until those municipal elections. There are a number of ways that you can check your registration. You can SMS that number 32810. Also, you can call 0800 11 8000. Get onto their website as well. All the details will be there. You know what they say, don't moan if you don't vote. So get out there, register. It's an important election coming up. That's the Chief Electoral Officer at the IEC, Masutu Moepa, joining us in studio. We'll continue to track those local government elections. Masutu, appreciate your time. Thanks very much.